What is up, friends? Today I want to explore the big mouth theory that Caleb might actually be imagining the Hormone Monsters as a way to process and understand his classmates going through puberty. Huge shout out to one of my subscribers, Anonymous Invader, who brought this idea up in the comment section. But before we start, I want to remind y'all to subscribe because there's going to be no shortage of cartoon breakdowns on my channel anytime soon. Here's your final spoiler warning for the video. We're going to cover all 3 seasons of Big Mouth, so here we go. This entire concept stems from the season 3 finale, Super Mouth, that showcases all of our favorite puberty-ridden teens as superheroes. The major reveal at the end of the episode is that the superpowers themselves were all a part of Caleb's imagination, and he used these superpowers as a way to process the drama engulfing the school. I made a video breaking down all of those superpowers, and that's where Anonymous Invader suggested that maybe all of the monsters are also a part of Caleb's imagination as a way to process the changes these kids are experiencing through puberty. I absolutely love this series, so let's just dive in. While Caleb has been pretty regularly featured in Big Mouth, he still has relatively few lines of dialogue throughout the show. A lot of fans speculate that he's on the autism spectrum, and I definitely think this is what the writers are attempting to portray with the character. That being said, I'm not anything close to a health professional, so any further speculation as to what exact type of autism Caleb exhibits probably shouldn't be coming from me, but this is definitely a major aspect of how Caleb processes his life and the lives of his classmates. Throughout Big Mouth, Caleb does show an in-depth understanding of how things function and operate on a detailed level, and puberty is no different. This is from episode 201, Am I Normal?
When did everyone get so tall? When their glands released androgens and hormones, triggering puberty-related growth spurts.
So we see that even the chemical processes of puberty are something that Caleb has read about and internalized. But interestingly, we also see that despite never having shown Caleb actually interact with the hormone monsters on the same level we see Andrew, Nick, Jesse, etc., we do get a confirmation that he can actually see them.
Hi, you're looking at me. How tall are you? There's a monster next to you.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
This is actually a pretty fascinating observation because this happened back in season 1, episode 2, Everybody Bleeds, and up until this point we only experienced Andrew interacting with the hormone monster, and Maury seemed to be familiar with Caleb to a degree as well. On top of this, Maury actually tells Andrew not to sit next to Caleb, and if we're rolling with the idea that the monsters are all manifestation of Caleb's mind, this could be something he uses to articulate why people don't want to sit with him on the bus. It could be seen as his own coping mechanism in more ways than one. If we jump all the way up to season 3, episode 8, The Asses, Caleb reveals some information that could further indicate his unique way of processing the lives of his classmates.
My backpack is filled with miniature figurines of every student.
So Caleb says that his backpack is filled with miniature figurines of all of his classmates. What would he possibly use them for? This is taking the theory one step further and is pretty much pure speculation, but it could be possible that Caleb uses these figurines to further help himself understand how and why his classmates act the way they do. What if not just the hormone monsters, but the entire series existed as a reenactment through Caleb's miniature figurines? This is definitely just fun theoretical speculation, like I said before, but maybe Caleb adds these monster characters into his reenactments to explain what he perceives as irrational behavior. This would explain the biggest argument against Caleb imagining the monsters, which is the fact that we see a ton of events involving the monsters that do not include Caleb at all. The show doesn't exist only when Caleb is around, it showcases all of the main characters' lives and struggles outside of school as well, so it's tough to argue that all of the monster stuff could be a figment of Caleb's imagination. If the entire show is Caleb's interpretation and reenactment of his friends' lives, this sort of throws this problem away. At the end of the day, we really have one major question for Caleb.
Oh, so this whole thing was in your head?
Reality is only a construct.
Is the entire reality of Big Mouth actually just a construct of Caleb's imagination? He seems to be saying it is. After all, he is Lord Infinite, an all-powerful being. But he also says at the end of Supermouth that he doesn't know what will happen next, so we know he isn't just making up stories, merely reinterpreting them. But I'm sure you all want to know what I think about this idea. Well, honestly, I think it's just a really fun theory, and I had a lot of fun diving into it. Do I think it's what the show will eventually reveal? I would lean towards no, but there's also significant enough evidence that I don't think it would be crazy for them to go in that direction. Given that the show is getting a spin-off series specifically about the monsters called Human Resources, it seems like it might be a stretch that 2 entire separate series are all figments of one character's imagination. At the end of the day, I don't think it's actually that important to the themes or messages of the show. The series is already a construct. The writers are interpreting human emotions through these monster characters, so the idea that it's actually Caleb interpreting these emotions doesn't actually change the premise or outcome of the series. It's sort of just a fun nod to the creation and ideas behind the series itself. It would be fun if this was revealed eventually, but it wouldn't really change all that much about the show. But that's where I want to pass it off to you folks. How do you feel about this theory? Is Caleb imagining the hormone monsters as a way to interpret puberty? Let me know below in the comments. And if you like this video, definitely do not forget to check out my Big Mouth reviews and deep dives because I have a ton of fun breakdowns for this show. And oh yeah, also subscribe, you know all that stuff. Peace.
Johnny to Cellos.